Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Austin here, back with another Brawl Stars video. So yesterday we went over the hypercharges and I kind of went through and told you what was the best and what was the worst. But let's go over the worst 10 brawlers in the game, in my opinion. So I would not recommend maxing these brawlers out. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first on the list is going to be Janet. Janet did get a 1% damage buff, but it really didn't do anything because the meta is really tanky brawlers, and she's just not made for that, really. So with that 1%, it really didn't do a whole lot, and Janet just really is falling below and more below the meta, even with that buff. So Janet is number one on the list. Second on the list, we have Daryl. Daryl, stat-wise, just looking at his stats when maxed out or even at any level, is bad compared to all the rest of the brawlers in the game, regardless if it's a tank or an assassin or something like that. And mechanically, he is bad. I feel like he should be better, and he could use a rework in the near future, just like Meg did, but it seems like Daryl's always forgotten about. I'm pretty sure I saw something on the Brawl Stars Reddit that said Daryl hasn't gained or gotten a skin in forever, so I feel like he's kind of forgot about. I think he's the most forgotten about brawler because I think it's like season 21 or something like that he got a skin, and that was the last time he's gotten anything. So for that reason, he is in the top 10 worst brawlers to max or play in Brawl Stars. Next up, we have Hank. No surprise here. He has some uses, but at the end of the day, he's kind of bad and not very usable. I will say, in certain situations like Hot Zone, he could be used, but other than that, not very good. Also on this list, we have Grom. Grom is not very good just because he's easily counterable with somebody that is an aggressive player like Fang or even Piper now. So with that, Grom is just not very good. And his main attack is very, very easily dodgeable. I feel like every time I play Grom, you kind of know what's coming. You know where it's going to be. And if you're playing a good player, I'm not saying I'm the greatest player, but if you're playing a good player, they will understand and kind of figure out where you're going to be shooting. So with that, I think that Grom is just not usable and one of the worst throwers in the game, in my opinion, especially with the addition of Barry. He is going to be fallen below and more below. Fifth on this list, we have Penny. Penny, her gadgets compared to other brawlers' gadgets are just very, very subpar and very, very poor. She can be annoying in Hot Zone, but honestly, that's really all she's got. She can kind of post up a turret and it'd be annoying in Hot Zone, but at the end of the day, her usage is not very good. Bounty, she's not very good. A lot of people are moving in Bounty. A lot of people are just moving in general, regardless of the map or game mode. So for that reason, Penny is just not usable, really. So I would put her in the top 10 worst brawlers. Next, this one might surprise a few people. Tara. I think this was hard. She was the last one that I was going to be talking about, but yes, I understand Tara is good, but now in the meta, it's just a lot of tanks like BB, Frank, Meg, so she just doesn't do enough damage for me to have her above any other brawler in that sense. So if you guys also disagree with any of these, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and while you're down there, drop a like and subscribe. On the road to 500 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate that. But in my opinion, yeah, Tara doesn't do enough damage, especially for a tank meta, but in any other meta, Tara would be a subpar, B tier, C tier, but in this case, bottom of the barrel. Next up, we have Bonnie. She got a buff not too long ago. I forget how many updates now, but it helped her get her super in a couple shots. I think it's 3 now, but it's just she gets outranged and outperformed by almost every single brawler in the game, especially when it comes to hypercharges. Almost every brawler in the game now is coming with a hypercharge unless it's brand new, such as Barry or Draco. But yeah, I think Bonnie just gets really outperformed by hypercharges, but she's very, very good. Still, just not in the meta. She's not good. Next up, we have Maisie. Maisie does have that stun effect that is really, really good, and you'd think, wow, Maisie would be good in this meta because you're going to be stunning all the tanks. However, Frank is the most used tank right now, and they can run the gadget that he is immune to stuns. So for that case, Maisie is in the bottom because no matter what you do, Maisie can't stun Frank if he is using that gadget, and it's just bad news for Maisie all around. Next up, we have Ash. Ash has just been very lackluster, especially in the last few updates. He kind of does what Frank does with a hypercharge, just worse in my eyes. So with that, I have to put Ash really, really low in the worst brawlers to max out because he just gets outperformed by Frank, and Frank just does what he does better in a sense. So yes, I'm hoping for Ash rework or just a buff in general, but we will see with the time going on. This is a nice new meta in my opinion. Let me know how you guys are feeling about it down below, but I think that it is fun having Frank being used finally. Ever since like forever ago, Frank has not been used, and it's just kind of bad. And it's nice that we're getting something different in the game. New mixes, new brawlers, different meta. It's nice. It's a different change, so I'm excited for it. Last brawler on this list, I talked about him in the hypercharge video, if that's not a sneak peek, but Bull. Bull, his hypercharge is good. That does 80% reduction to damage, but it's just same with Daryl, just gets outperformed by almost every other tank in the game now, especially with Frank getting a hypercharge. Then you have Meg's rework. Then you have Draco being just Draco with his great gadget. So it's just very, very hard for him to even be put in the best tanks, let alone the top 3 or top 4 tanks in the game. So with that, he is going to be the last brawler on this list. Let me know down below how I did. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.